Welcome to your latest Forest transfer news. Coming up on today's episode, a huge link to the City ground. The forgotten man is now wanted in the Championship. The price on Gimenez has been set. And are we already seeing the Edu effect? All this and plenty more coming up today for you guys on your latest Forest news. Let's get into it. Good morning, good evening, or good night. Hope you guys are doing well, and welcome to your latest Forest transfer news. And boy, have we got an exciting episode for you. So please make sure you've hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to FFTV if you are new here. And let me know in the comments if you could have one realistic signing this window. Who would it be? And don't forget to check out the new prize from Football Prizes, where you can win hospitality tickets for the Forest Southampton game, as well as Insta prize wins. You can get Matt Sells, the hottest keeper on the planet right now. If you hit ticket 266, it's framed, it's signed, Hudson-Odoi as well, and Alanga. So scan this QR code or click on the link that's pinned in the comments. Alrighty then, let's get into this because we got some huge news for you guys, and this revolves around Douglas Luiz. Now, Douglas Luiz moved from Villa to Juventus in the summer and has really struggled to hold a team place down or get into the team. In fact, he's played 13 times for them and only 2 of them have been starts. And Juventus are up for him leaving on a loan. So, let me tell you who's sourced this. This has come from Romano, who's actually nicked it from Matti Moreto. And he said, Forest are amongst the clubs showing interest in Douglas Luiz. He's still not a regular starter at Juventus, and his situation is open in January. The feeling is that it's going to be, of course, a loan. There are so many clubs interested in him. We're talking about Arsenal, Man United, Spurs, Fulham. It's easier just to say the ones that are not interested than the ones that are interested. Now, he's 26 years old, and we probably all, or you guys probably all remember him from his time at Villa. And that's where he was really shining because Arsenal were really interested in him before he joined Villa. And then obviously he ended up going to Juventus. The question is though, what is he? Is he a CDM? Is he a CM? Is he an 8? The answer really is, for me, he's more of an 8. But he can play in the attacking sense of the 8 and the defensive sense of it as well. And I spoke to my mate Luke over on Up the Villa podcast, and he kind of agrees with what I'm saying here. And his words were basically, he can attack and score, but he's the player that almost is the catalyst that starts the attacks. He controls the midfield. He likes to be in a possession-based team, which obviously currently Forest play more counter-attacking football. But he can do what the team needs to do. So in essence, you could see this fit with him alongside maybe Anderson in midfield and Morgan Gibbs-White in the 10. Man, that sounds good, doesn't it? Or you could see him playing as a double pivot in a double 8. Or you could even see him with, say, Sangare coming back and him playing in the more advanced 8. So he's very versatile. However, there are talks as well. As I mentioned, Man U were one of the ones that are interested. And they're offering Juventus a swap deal. They're looking at potentially Xerxes or Rashford as being that swap, straight swap for Luiz going the other way. Whether that's a loan each way or perm, I don't know the details on what that offer is. And that might entice Juventus because then they feel that they've replaced him in the squad and they don't have to go fishing in the pond, so to speak. But as we said in the intro, I want to talk about Edu. Because I think we're starting to see the Edu impact already at Forest. Now, what do I mean by this? Firstly, Edu officially doesn't work for Forest. He's still under gardening leave with Arsenal. That's for 6 months. We discussed this with Ben Jacobs a couple of months ago. I'll leave that video for you guys on the end screen. But it doesn't mean that Edu isn't doing any work for the Marinakis group. And this is the first thing that stinks to me, a nice stench may I add, of Edu getting involved. Why? Because Edu is a huge fan of Douglas Luiz and he was trying so hard to get him to Arsenal before he went to Juventus. And obviously with the Brazilian connections and everything like that, Edu does open up a bit of a black book for the Marinacas group to take advantage of. So although he's not working in an official capacity, I smell Edu's fingerprints all over this. And this is why it makes me a little more confident that Forest could land this, because honestly, Edu really likes this player and has pushed for a long time to get him across to Arsenal. So I'm actually optimistic on this one. I think what it will come down to is how Juventus want to play this out. Do they need that straight replacement to fill their squad out? Does that offer from the likes of Manchester United appeal to them? Or will they let the player decide where he wants to go? Because if it's a straight choice between Manchester United and Forest are in a title charge. Forest are in a, vying for the Premier League. Whereas Manchester United are in a relegation battle. So let's see how this one plays out. But I'm quietly optimistic. Get your thoughts in it down below. All right, so let's talk about the forgotten man who's coming back to Forest, and that's Lewis O'Brien, who joined us in our promotion season, well, in our first season in the Premier League, in a 2-for-1 offer with Tuffalo for about 10 million for the pair of them. Now, he's been out on loan left, right and centre, and his latest loan was out at Los Angeles FC, LAFC, over in the MLS. And apparently he's done quite well there, but he's on his way back now to Forest. And the talk is there are a lot of championship clubs very interested in him if he's not going to make the cut at Forest. And to be fair, I thought he was a good player at Forest when he first came up. I thought he was one of our better midfielders until he fell out with Cooper or whoever it was. I can't remember the details. Now, the attraction in him is coming from the championship clubs. Leeds have been watching him for a couple of months and are very interested. But there are also 3 or 4 other championship clubs that would like him as well. And I think he would do a cracking job at any top-end championship team right now, and I can see Forest getting some offers for him. However, I think Forest would like to move him on a perm deal rather than another loan one. As I'm sure, look, off the top of my head, I can't remember how long's left on his contract, but I don't think it's going to be that long. So Forest would be happy to move him on, in my opinion. And I think for him, it would help him because he's been all over the place, man. Loaned out in the championship, over to America, back, and then over to America again. So many movements. And I think for him, his family, I'm sure he would like to settle down. So this is one that I feel very strongly about that will end up in a sale this January window. But he will have to most likely go to the championship to get this one over the line. But maybe some of you guys would like to see Lob back in the Forest squad. Is there anyone out there who thinks he can still cut it? Or do you think we've upgraded past him? Let me know in the comments down below. All right, let's give you the update on bloody Santiago Gimenez. And this is still ongoing, but we're getting told now about his price. We believe the valuation that's coming out that they want for him is now £35 million. This is, I think if I remember rightly, Forest were in the region of 25 to 27 over the summer on him, but the price has been bumped up slightly because he is garnishing interest from quite a few clubs. Now, Liverpool have been linked strongly with him because obviously Slot was his former manager. However, reports coming out from the Liverpool end, and I can't verify this one, it's got nothing to do with Forest, is that Slot will not be making a move for him in this transfer window. But Forest is still very keen on him. And you know what? If I put all the politics aside about he said, she said, relegation battle this, can't get in front of Cristiano Ronaldo that, and I just look at the player himself, and I've been studying him quite a lot lately, I think he is absolutely perfect for Nuno Ball. He would slot into the formation and he would slot into that team very, very effectively, because not only does he play in that style, but he also works hard in terms of tracking back. He's used to doing it. It's in his DNA, in his football makeup, that when he plays football, he doesn't just stand there. He likes to track back, work hard, win the ball, etc., etc. So the more I hear about it and the more links that are coming back with a good old Gimenez, the more I'm ready to overlook and say, let bygones be bygones. Because he could be the next Gyökeres. Okay, maybe that's a little bit too far, but he has that potential in him. His conversion rates are very good. I know Ant's probably watching this saying, oh, Farmers League. Yeah, well, Ant wanted Eddie Nketiah, so let's not take his opinion seriously. But if I take the politics out of this one, I am ready for him. I've made my peace with him. But the question is, are Forest willing to meet the 35 million valuation? Or can Maragnakas offer them an offer they can't refuse that will be less than that? And will Gimenez get over his phobia of being second fiddle to Wood? We'll keep you posted on this one. But get your thoughts in. Do we still need a striker this transfer window? Now, Taiwo started scoring. I know it's one goal, but that will do the world of good for his confidence. Or do you think we should look elsewhere from Gimenez? Guys, that's your update on your Forest transfer news for today. If you haven't already, please don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed if you're new. Go check out the football prizes giveaway this weekend, the Southampton match. Hospitality sounds fantastic. So go grab your tickets for that. I'll leave you the Ben Jacobs interview we did a couple of weeks back where we talked to him about Edu. And until the next video, come on you Reds.